It's about to take place. Most people won't feel tomorrow, but you will. Because tomorrow, we enter an alignment almost no one is talking about. Not because it's insignificant, but because it only hits a certain group of people, the ones who are spiritually attuned, the ones who can feel shifts before they're visible, the ones who notice the subtle pressure in the air before anything actually happens. This Saturn-Neptune conjunction is the kind of energy that slips under the radar of the collective. And the truth is, most people are not ready. But you still have time. Because before this alignment peaks, there's some things you need to do and be aware of. Trust me, you'll thank me later. There's a reason this alignment is hitting you so personally. Saturn respects completion more than ambition. And if you want tomorrow's shift to work with you instead of against you, you need to show Saturn that your life is not built on half-finished choices. So here's the preparation, and it's deceptively simple. Finish one unfinished task today. Not something deep, not something emotional, just one tiny, boring thing you've been avoiding, something that takes under 10 minutes. Because the truth is, Saturn doesn't care about your dreams. Saturn cares about whether you're actually ready for them. Tomorrow's conjunction isn't here to test you. It's here to rearrange the distance between who you are and who you've been trying to become. The real gift of Saturn and Neptune working together is that they close the space between what inspires you and what you believe is actually possible. For the first time in a long time, your imagination and your practicality are speaking the same language. This is the season where dreams stop floating in the distance and start landing on solid ground. Things you once labeled too unrealistic suddenly have steps, structure, and a path. Ideas that felt out of reach begin to look manageable. That project you've been silently wanting to start, it suddenly doesn't feel like a fantasy, it feels like a blueprint. This is when people surprise themselves with what they're capable of. And it's also when life gives you small openings that didn't exist before. Saturn brings the framework, Neptune brings the vision, and when they meet, the impossible stops being a wall. It becomes a door. The key is willingness. Not perfection, not urgency, not pressure, just willingness. Because as this conjunction peaks, dreams aren't supposed to stay in your head. They're supposed to become instructions. One of the strangest effects of this alignment is how it bends timing in your favor. People often expect spiritual shifts to show up as signs, but under this conjunction, they show up as perfectly timed coincidences, the kind that feel too specific to ignore. Not symbols, not omens, but confirmations that you're moving in the direction your life has been quietly pulling you toward. You might think about someone you haven't spoken to in years and suddenly they message you. You might start a small task and without planning it, stumble into the opportunity you needed months ago. You might make one simple decision and watch 3 unrelated situations immediately rearrange themselves around it. Saturn handles sequence. Neptune handles intuition. Together, they choreograph moments you couldn't have engineered even if you tried. These coincidences are not random. They're the universe adjusting the fine print, aligning the details, and showing you that your path is being supported in ways you don't always see. This is why so many people say that during this conjunction, life starts saying yes before you do. The more aligned you are with your direction, the more effortless these moments feel. And once they start, they rarely show up alone. They come in clusters, shifting your momentum faster than you expect. So don't dismiss them. Don't write them off as luck. Pay attention to what repeats, what returns, and what suddenly falls into place with no resistance. That's how you'll know the conjunction is already working. Before the conjunction peaks, there's one preparation step almost everyone overlooks, and yet it's the one that matters most. You need to remove a single influence that weakens your confidence. Not forever, just for now. People think preparation is about adding things, doing more, trying harder, but this alignment works by amplification. That means whatever signal you're already carrying inside you gets magnified. And if you're carrying doubt, hesitation, or insecurity, that's exactly what gets louder when the energy hits. So here's what you need to do before tomorrow. Cut off one doubt signal. Just one. Someone whose opinions subtly make you shrink or question yourself. It could be a comparison target. That person you mentally measure yourself against without realizing it drains your power. It could be a mental narrative you've been rehearsing for years. The quiet but persistent sentence that tells you you're behind, you're late, or you're not ready. Or it could even be a draining conversation loop you keep participating in, where every time you talk to that person, you walk away feeling smaller, not stronger. Removing just one of these creates a noticeable shift. It's not symbolic, it's strategic. This conjunction is designed to push your courage forward, but it can't do that if your courage is tangled in voices or habits that constantly pull you backward. When Saturn sets the structure and Neptune expands your vision, the last thing you need is background noise diluting your direction. Think of it like clearing interference from a signal. You don't need a new mindset, you just need to stop feeding the mindset that weakens you, because confidence doesn't grow from doing more. It grows from removing what undermines you. And when tomorrow arrives, the energy won't create your courage. It will amplify the courage you already have. Make sure the universe has something strong to work with. When the conjunction peaks, most people will feel the urge to talk about it, to announce their shift, to tell someone they're about to change their life or finally make a move. But tomorrow is not the day for sharing. Tomorrow is the day for protecting. Saturn rewards inner commitment more than outward declaration, and announcing your shift too early exposes it to energies, opinions, and interpretations that are not meant to shape it. You need to keep your direction to yourself, not because it's secretive, but because it's still forming, still stabilizing, still finding the shape it wants to take. Sharing prematurely opens the door for someone else's doubt, confusion, or even casual skepticism to settle into your process. And once that happens, you end up carrying reactions that were never yours to begin with. This alignment works best when your internal world is uninterrupted. There's something powerful about keeping your next move silent. It creates momentum. It strengthens your commitment. It protects your clarity. When you don't explain yourself, the energy stays clean. When you don't justify the shift you feel coming, the shift grows stronger. People forget that silence is a spiritual tool, not an absence, but a container. And tomorrow, more than ever, you need that container. Because your breakthrough only becomes real once you stop needing permission for it. So keep your intentions private. Keep your preparations quiet. Keep your direction shielded from outside influence until the alignment settles. Once it does, everything will unfold on its own. And by then, you won't need to explain anything. Once again, welcome back to today's comment highlight of the day. My isolation wasn't exile, it was compression before ignition. I noticed this comment from the last video, and it's short, but it hits hard. This reframes everything. What looked like being cut off was actually pressure building. And pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. Compression doesn't last forever. It exists for one reason: release. Some people disappear because they're lost. Others disappear because they're about to launch. This one was powerful. Thank you. One of the most misunderstood parts of this conjunction is how it reshapes your relationship with pace. People hear "prepare before tomorrow" and instantly think they must rush, cram, or sprint through the day as if the universe is timing them with a stopwatch. But that's not how this energy works at all. If anything, rushing is the opposite of preparation. What Saturn and Neptune are asking from you right now is something radical in its simplicity. Finish what you need to finish, but refuse unnecessary urgency. Not slow motion, not procrastination, not laziness, just a conscious decision to stop forcing your life to move faster than it needs to. Saturn rules pacing, the rhythm of steps, the order of events, the way a process unfolds when you let it breathe. Neptune rules flow, the intuitive sense of timing that makes something feel natural rather than pressured. When these two energies meet, preparation isn't about speed, it's about alignment. It's about meeting your responsibilities at the pace that allows clarity instead of chaos. If today is too late for you to complete something, then tomorrow or the next day will still serve you. What matters is that you finish, not that you rush. There's something powerful that happens when you refuse urgency for just a single day. You'll notice your mind unclench. You'll notice decisions feel clearer. You'll notice that the things you usually struggle with become easier simply because you're not tightening around them. This conjunction rewards people who understand that grounded pacing leads to better outcomes than frantic effort. When you act at the speed something truly requires, you're working with the alignment instead of pushing against it. Rushing is the fastest way to misread your own direction. If you want tomorrow's shift to support you, give yourself the gift of one day without forcing anything. You will be stunned by how much lighter, steadier, and more capable you feel when you allow your actions to unfold at the pace they were meant to. Most people hear about a major astrological event and immediately assume there's a deadline, that if they don't change their life before the peak, they've missed their chance. But this is where the Saturn-Neptune conjunction breaks the usual pattern. Tomorrow is not a finish line, it's the beginning. The window doesn't close tomorrow, it opens tomorrow. That single shift in perspective changes everything. What peaks tomorrow is the doorway into a phase that stretches across weeks. A phase where decisions carry more weight, structures hold more firmly, and new directions don't just appear, they stabilize. This is the part people underestimate. Saturn is the planet that makes choices stick. Neptune is the planet that expands possibilities. When their energy merges, you get a rare period where every step you take has long-term impact, where every commitment becomes easier to maintain, and where clarity slowly replaces confusion. This is why so much of what you've been trying to build or change in your life suddenly feels more achievable. It's not because life gets easier, it's because the timing finally becomes supportive. When the window opens, the universe stops resisting your direction and starts reinforcing it. It's like walking with the wind instead of against it. Things that used to require constant pushing start to move naturally again. This is the moment where you're supposed to feel hopeful, not pressured. Because tomorrow doesn't demand a new life. It invites you to begin one. And once this window opens, you'll notice something shift inside you. The ideas you've been holding onto gain structure. The intentions you've been questioning begin to solidify. The path you've been avoiding suddenly looks clear, even inviting. So don't think of tomorrow as a deadline. Think of it as the opening scene of a chapter where things finally start becoming real. Not later, not eventually, but now. This is your chance to step into momentum that actually lasts. A common misconception about energetic shifts like this one is the belief that preparation has to be dramatic, emotional, or life-changing in some grand, cinematic way. But this conjunction doesn't care about theatrics, and it doesn't measure your readiness by how intensely you feel your dreams. Saturn and Neptune aren't testing your ambition. They're testing whether your life is stable enough to actually hold what you want. This alignment asks a simple but powerful question. Can your current world support the version of you you're trying to become? People get lost in vision and forget the container that vision requires. If your daily life is chaotic, scattered, or full of loose ends, it becomes nearly impossible for bigger opportunities to settle into place. Not because you're unworthy of them, but because the environment can't sustain them. That's why the real preparation is so small, it feels almost insignificant. Picking up one area of disorder, completing one overdue task, tightening one piece of your routine, proving that small order can exist consistently. These are not gestures of discipline, they are signals to reality that you can maintain something long enough for it to grow. This is how Saturn reads readiness, not in breakthroughs, not in declarations, in tiny acts of steadiness, in the simplest forms of order. Neptune brings the vision, but Saturn decides whether that vision has somewhere to land. When you show that your life can hold a basic level of structure, the conjunction interprets it as permission to build something bigger inside that structure. Think of it this way: the universe is always trying to give you more than you're currently living, but it won't send a future into an environment that can't sustain it. When you organize one corner of your world, you're not cleaning up, you're demonstrating capacity. Big futures don't arrive in chaotic environments. They arrive where small stability already exists. By creating even a single point of order today, you open the door for something much larger to walk through tomorrow. When people hear the words "last chance," their minds jump straight to fear, urgency, or the idea that something bad is about to disappear forever. But this moment isn't about loss. It isn't a countdown towards something closing. In fact, it's the opposite. The reason this alignment is a last chance is because you are standing inside a window where your inner world and the external world are finally willing to cooperate. Something that doesn't happen often, and certainly not on this scale. Think about how life usually works. You have visions, ideas, and intentions that feel exciting, yet reality drags its feet. You try to move forward, but conditions aren't right, timing is off, or something blocks your momentum. And on the flip side, sometimes opportunities appear, but your inner world isn't ready. The confidence isn't there, the clarity isn't solid, the direction isn't stable. So the chance slips by. This tug of war is the normal rhythm of life. Reality pushing one way and your vision pulling another. But during this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, that split dissolves. Your imagination doesn't feel far away. Your hopes don't feel abstract. And your physical reality becomes more flexible, more responsive, more willing to meet you where you are. It's as if the universe presses pause on all the usual resistance and says, "All right, for this moment, let's work together." That's why it's a last chance. Not because something terrible will happen if you miss it, but because moments like this are incredibly rare. Windows where your dreams translate smoothly into reality don't stay open forever. They come in cycles, in brief, energetic alignments where the universe's structure and your own inner truth line up perfectly. Like two gears